What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Litra's Creative Corner. How's everyone doing? I'm going to pin this really quick. And today, a good friend of mine as well, so super excited to have him on. We have Anthony Walsh joining us live today. He's going to talk about all things Litra. He's going to talk about all things surfing, all things GoPro, maybe. Scott Gant, what is up, man? Hello. How are you? We'll let a couple more people line up here, and we will get going. All right. So stoked to have Anthony on today. Let's see here. Yep, a couple more people logging on. That's good. Switched up the background. What do you guys think? A little more plain Jane, less Star Warsy. Love my colors, but just messing with some standard light, less Star Warsy for sure. I love that. So I do love spaceships though. Anyways, so guys, we have Anthony Walsh on today. So Anthony Walsh, he's a professional surfer, content creator, and athlete. Anthony grew up in a small town and at a young age, him and his brother would take photos of each other surfing with old disposable film cameras. So this was kind of before GoPros, back in its time here. He then moved into making his own camera housings around the age of 19. He began making mounts so he could mount DSLR cameras to himself and his surfboards. Can you imagine mounting a DSLR camera before GoPros? That would be quite the challenge there. As technology got better, he got put into contact with GoPro, which only had a couple of employees at the time. They were coming out with their digital camera model. That's what we know now. They're all the way up to a 9. And Anthony then made his own GoPro accessory company, which was acquired by GoPro. That's pretty cool. We'll get into that. While working with the manufacturer in China, he met the creator of Litra. See the synergy, see how that happens, see all the connections that's going on there. Litra wanted to make a GoPro light, and that is how the relationship with Litra started. So I did see Anthony join in here. Let's see if he is in here with us, and we will pull him on and just start asking him a ton of questions. Let's see what we got here. Walshy.
Yeah, how you doing, Drew?
What's up, buddy?
Just cruising.
Yeah, how's life, man?
Good. How's things over there?
It's good. It's cold, but we got through some of the election stuff, and just trying to keep our head positive with COVID, just like you are. And yeah, it's been good though, man. I can't complain. How's things your way? What's going on your way, man?
It's I've been here back in I've been back here in 2 months now, and it's I was in Australia before that, kind of self-isolating, I guess. And then I moved, I got back here, and the reality of COVID, basically, with masks and everything else. So it's been a big change for mostly for my son, but no, it's good. It's good to be here.
Good, man. That's great to hear. Well, so we're going to dive into all of that stuff as far as surfing and goes and how you got started. But real quick question, just want to start off right off the bat. What is the last show or movie that you watched?
It was actually last night. Me and my son were watching the David Attenborough, the newest documentary on that, which I always liked. I haven't seen any of his documentaries in a while, and that was really cool. My son actually fell asleep during it, but I think because of less animals and more talking, more than his regular documentaries. But yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. I watched that too. It's incredible. I highly recommend that. It's on Netflix, I believe. Very cool, man. So I want to go into like those early years. Like I gave an introduction about you. I talked about how you made mounts back in the day. You and your brother used to shoot video of each other while surfing. What kind of happened in those early years? I mean, you were obviously an athlete and you knew that, but why filming? Why lighting? Why DSLR cameras? Why is that important in an athlete's world?
I think, back then it was more about, I grew up in a real country area, and we actually had no one to shoot us. And so that's how it started. And obviously more and more I was competing more. And then I got to an age when I was 19, and I was trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do in my career here? And that's when kind of free surfing kind of showed up. and I liked more chasing the good waves and doing my own photography and stuff like that. So that's how that branched off. I made my own housings, and then that led down the track. Was always technology was, as is now, is changing a lot, but then it was changing even more. Every 6 months was like a new product. So I was like looking for new cameras, and because my big DSLR housing that was like this big, and trying to surf with that off like a backpack mount off my surfboard, it was pretty ridiculous. But I learned a lot of things, which was cool and kind of put me ahead of the game. So when GoPro came out and I got put onto them, I'd already figured out a lot of stuff, and it was good that I had all that, I had like a few years of practice and learning the good and the bad and things to do and don't. So it had me a good, head of the game a little bit. And then down the track with lighting, just there's always little bits that you need, like, backlit or just for interviews or even just lives like now. Whatever, just there's more face-to-face, and, everyone's getting more professional, but also real picky. So it's just like, and it's good. It's just like you can do things you couldn't do before, like night surfing. I couldn't go night surfing and actually be filmed and from the shore and actually being seen with light and do long exposures or whatever it is. So it's just opened up, half of the time that we couldn't really shoot before with lighting. So it's been really cool for me.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine like back in the day before everything was waterproof. I mean, with Litra, all three lights in the line are waterproof, but I can't imagine dealing with non-waterproof cameras and then non-waterproof lights and then trying to use all of that. That would be insane at that age.
Yeah, so I first started, the first lighting I did actually was pulling apart flashes, and I was making, like, pulling them all little pieces apart, and they're making their own housings with wiring to the camera, and it was just like, it was impossible. Like, I got it to work a few times, but with electrical and water and big camera and like wires running up my arms to my hands and whatever else, like it was just, it's so much easier now. And
you looked like iRobot out there probably. I mean, what does that do though for a pro athlete, for people who don't know? I was in the snowboard world for years and still am, and I know how that video can really go a long way for you as an athlete. What does that do in surfing for you?
I mean, like today's age, especially in free surfing where I am, you're creating your own content. So basically a content creator anyway. I'm sure you can pay someone else to do it and do what else. But for me, it's like, gives me, I can go create all my own content for brands, myself, like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. And I'm in control of that. And so it's kind of like you're getting 2-for-1 deal with, like, I'm doing 2 jobs, and it's really helped. I mean, for my career, it's been like perfect timing, I guess, from when I first went to GoPro, and then like how it all worked out and is what I wanted to do. So I was really lucky. But even this day and age, like there's so many people that want to do, whether it's action sports and photography, and they're mixing them together, whatever it is. And so there's a lot of people to keep you on your toes, because there's a lot of people that are doing it and getting really good at the editing side as well. So, it's cool. It's like every year is a new change. You got to be original and change yourself, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, man, that's great advice. Totally agree with you there. Do you find yourself spending more time editing and doing video, or do you find yourself just enjoying the surf or competing still, or where are you at there, kind of 50-50?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the projects at hand, and where I am, like, because I'll go and shoot, and then there'll be times I'll be editing. So, like, it's kind of 50-50, I say, but, if I'm doing a lot more video, then there's a lot more editing, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like the shooting part more, but also you gotta, if you don't have someone doing it for you, or you're not delivering it raw footage to someone, they do it, then you want to show the best you can of what you created. So it's really fun. Like there is tedious times of just waiting for things to upload and render and everything else, but you know, the end product is always worth it.
Totally, man. I totally agree. So let's move into like that GoPro acquisition. And I feel comfortable talking about GoPro because Litra, you know, just released a GoPro light and we're in collaboration with them, which is amazing. But let's talk about GoPro a little bit because I mean, before we were hanging out and getting to know each other like a couple years ago in Vegas, I said, "Oh yeah, I know you because you're on the box of GoPro." I mean, you had a really awesome selfie image that kind of went viral there, that went on the box and everything. So let's talk about that. I mean, how do you go from building your own housings to getting acquired by GoPro to being a GoPro athlete to showing face on the Hero box? How does that happen?
Yeah, so I think it was just, like I said, it was kind of lucky timing. So one of my friends, Tyler Reed, who was helping me build my housings in California, I went there and spent like a couple months with him, and he showed me the ropes because he was already working for a company that was called Delmar Housings at the time. And so I came in and said, "Hey, I wanted to make these housings and mounts, and can you help me to show the ropes? Like, I don't have money for you to buy it." And he was like, "Well, it's actually better if you come and do it, and then you can make it for yourself anyway, your style or stance or whatever mounts you want to do. So if you put in the time, then like I'll show you how to do it." So that's how that relationship started. We've been really good friends since, and I was in California and he was like, "Look, I got a couple ideas," and like I was already making my own mounts for GoPro then, like whether it was different handles and taping things or making molds, and because I already had that experience. And so he was like, "Look, I've got a couple ideas. What do you think?" And we were kind of went from there and branched for about 2 or 3 years. We went through like making our own, looking for manufacturers, sourcing whatever we could, and we made this line of mounts for GoPro, and that's how I met Scott Gant, and that's how my relationship with Litra started. But yeah, that was you know, that was after like two almost 3 years of me and Tyler working on that and getting patterns on it and stuff like that. And then obviously we went to CES, and then we had two different companies, and then GoPro ended up acquiring us. So it was really cool.
Yeah. That's cool, man. And you don't really think about that as you're making your own mounts. It's not like you're like, "Oh, I'm going to sell this to GoPro," but clearly you're such an expert in the surfing industry and you're a professional. So you know exactly what you need. And sometimes, you know, and GoPro was small at that time. They didn't have people deciding on mounts and what's important and what's not. So you were that guy. So anyone who has the surf mount on their surfboard from GoPro and anything like that, you can thank this guy right here, which is really cool. I want to talk about video projects in general because I'm a cinematographer. I know how I go into a project. I know how a lot of my friends go into projects who are editors and producers and things. How does an athlete go into a video project? Because I know there's a lot of thinking about the waves, the breaks, the time of day. What are you thinking, man? Or do you just wing it, or do you storyboard a little bit?
I definitely storyboard, but like I said, it depends on the project. A lot of the bigger projects aren't surf. They might be like action sports related or water sports related. But so in the beginning, depending on if I'm like, I usually like to run lean, like a small team. So I'm pretty much doing it all, storyboarding and everything. So it really depends on the project, but definitely like you would, scouting locations, storyboarding shots, so we can just get in there, get what we need. But then I would think about, okay, what angles, since we're using, whether it's, I've been doing a lot more VR lately. So it's thinking about VR mounting. So obviously you can't see any other people in the shot, the way it's mounted, so you don't see the poles or whatever it is. So there's definitely a lot of thought definitely behind that. So if it's surf, then yeah, I can just kind of wing it because I'm like, okay, I know
Yeah.
it looks good because I've done it for so long. But
Sure.
same as with you, if you shoot something you've done a billion times, then you're like, okay, it's pretty like you can write it up and this is how I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah.
But if it's some new stuff or if there's new clients or bigger clients, then you definitely got to go ahead and storyboard it and show them your vision rather than just like, oh, I know the vision, but I got to show someone else what that vision is.
Totally. Yeah, and I know you're making videos for GoPro and Litra because we've been working together now for the last couple of years. And so you mentioned the word client there. Who are you guys? Do you have other sponsors that you're making content for? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I work with a lot of different brands,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I'll have different clients hit me up for whether it's VR
Yeah.
work, which is kind of building a lot right now. And it just really depends. But yeah, like I work with other brands, and it just right now it's been weird because of the whole year and my
Yeah.
different brands than I would normally pick up. Less surf and more adventure, and mainly because where I was in the outback of
Sure.
Australia. So, but yeah, I just came back here and did a couple of VR jobs. So it's just for me, it's like I got a lot of different things I'm shooting. So it's kind of all over
Yeah.
the place.
Yeah, and that's cool though. That's what makes our job fun, right? If it was all the same stuff, we'd be bored.
Yeah,
At least I would pretty
yeah.
quick. So it keeps it really fun. Are you using the GoPro Max for a lot of that VR stuff?
Yeah, so for
Yeah.
mostly the Max, because it's really good and it's so small so like I can get a lot of VR previous. I've done a lot of work with VR over the years. Like when Facebook first came out with a player, they employed me and
Sure.
GoPro to shoot something for them, but they're just so small compared to they were. So there's so much more opportunities to mount it in different places and to like disappear. Like with the software, you can make the pole disappear without even
Right.
doing any kind of like editing. So you can really think about it and get real cool shots super easy because it's easy to
Yeah.
mount, small, light. Like before, like when I first started doing VR and I had like this ball that was
6
like this
GoPros.
big, yeah, with a cage and then on a big
Yeah.
heavy pole, and I'm trying to surf with this thing on a helmet or
Yeah.
holding a pole. Like now I've got this little camera that's like this big, and the software does its thing, and I don't have to do crazy editing and waiting for it to render, and it's
Yeah.
so amazing now.
What's crazy is that seems like that was 12 years ago that you're talking about, and crazy enough, that was only like 4 years ago,
Yeah.
right? So it's like I remember that thing. It was a big cage. It had like 8 different lenses, and then all the GoPros were synced to each other by USB, so they would trigger at the same time. I can't imagine trying to do that surfing because you get one drop on one lens and it screws up the entire shot for the other cameras. It doesn't sound like fun. So
Yeah.
I can see why the GoPro Max is super handy. In fact, after we talked about the GoPro Max this year at CES back in January before everything happened, I went and got one just because they were so much fun. You told me how to mount it. We talked, and you and photos for Boosted Board on the strip at midnight. And just a lot of fun, man. It's been good getting to hang out with you and get to do that stuff. And Boosted Board was stoked. So I want to move back into what you're talking about as far as like being the athlete and being the content creator. There's a lot of steps that are involved in that, like you just said. But what is your favorite part of the entire process?
Oh, I mean,
It's a
doing the
loaded
fun
question.
things. Yeah. Doing the fun things because I like action sports stuff. So I like doing things like a project I got to do was jumping out of a helicopter and trying to land on a wave. And because the actor himself didn't want to do it. So I had to come in and do it myself this was before Max. So I had a helmet with like all these cameras on it and then trying to jump out of a helicopter when it's moving, like, and land on a wave. So like I like that side of it, but I also like the end result when you've had all these cool ideas and then you get the shot and then it's all put together and people are just like, oh wow, like I didn't see it when you were talking about it here, like in the beginning. Even when it was storyboarded, it was kind of hard to believe, and then you come up with this cool end result. That's like the payoff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a good feeling for sure. And when you don't think it's right, like you're not stoked on your work. It's pretty
Yeah.
apparent, like, and you know what you have to change, which is cool. So, no, that's a good answer. So let's talk about the importance of lighting because obviously this is Litra. You've been affiliated with Litra for a while, and why lights? Besides making stuff look cool with colors and gels and being unique, why are lights important to you?
I mean, it just, like I said earlier, it kind of opens up 50% of the time because it's nighttime,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah.
it opens up that whole door of something totally different that wasn't available before, you know, like surfing with a light that's this big and it's waterproof and rugged and I kind of do whatever I want with it. Having multiple that wasn't available before. And then just on the professional side, whether it's just basic like side-on lighting for interviews or everyday person can just add it to their phone or GoPro and, you know, have look like that perfect professional kind of look light and getting rid of like backlight, not worrying, oh, the sun's here, now I'm going to be black. You can just eliminate that with a continuous light. Like I'm using the Pro right now to like kind of get rid of
Yeah.
the light. So, because I'm like pretty contrasty light behind me. So, and you still make it look like you wouldn't even actually know that there's like light on my face.
Right.
So things
Yep.
like that, like it's not so much that you actually notice it a lot of the time, but it's just makes it look better. And if you didn't know, then you don't even know that it's there.
Totally. Yeah, I always tell like in these I've talked with a bunch of people. Uh, we always say, no wrong way to light, but there is an ugly. So you'll know if it's wrong because it's probably pretty ugly, but there's no wrong. So I mean,
Yeah.
as long as you have light on the subject,
Yeah.
and there's a reason to light every which way, right? There's a mood that gets set from when you go from here to here, right? So just knowing
Yeah.
that step, I think that's really, really important. I was just curious as a surfer how you found lighting important, and it makes a ton of sense since you're doing a lot of night shoots. Let's talk about Lightroom specifically now. How has Lightroom made your life easier? I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about everything being more compact and waterproof, but where are you finding yourself using Lightroom most?
I use it every day. So
Yeah,
I do a lot of like camping and hiking and whether it's start early in the morning and whatever, but I use it diving. I would say probably like 30% of it is actually photography for me, but I use it every day. So
yeah,
it just really depends on the person. Like I use the torch pretty much every day, like when I'm going early surfing and, you know, just magnet up to my car and light everything as I'm getting ready or,
yeah,
just, for me, I use it a lot, you know, so many different things with different mounts and, you know, having all the quarter 20s, it's so modular. So you can kind of build however you want and make whatever you want out of it, whether it's for shooting or whether it's like just enjoying adventure or whatever. So that's what's really cool about Litra to me is it's really modular and there's no
yeah.
restrictions. Like you don't have to shoot it one way. There's countless, there's pretty much every mount on the market you can use, whether it's a torch, a pro, or a studio, you can use all of them in different ways. So that's the really cool
Are
part
you
about it.
using the studio a lot?
I have been, yeah, I've been,
Good.
I really like, you know, all the different colors and all the different themes I can do. There's so
Yeah,
much to learn and do on that. I'm still like not where you are with those kind of, you know, studio lights. Because I'm kind
yeah,
of building the other way. You know, you're at that top end and cinematic and you use it for all kinds of effects that you'd have to do in post or whatever. Now you can just, you know, set in your own custom settings, lighting, temperatures, and all
yeah.
the different things that you can do that was so much time and effort before. And now that, you know, have a studio light that's rugged and waterproof, like
Right.
that's kind of like a game changer, really. So there's still
Yep.
so much to do with it that there's so much more ideas that I have and haven't been able to do yet, which is it's cool. It's cool to have like not being like stuck and kind of stale and not know what's next, more to be done. So I really can't wait.
Right. Yeah, man. Super, super stoked to see what you do. I am just now like I finally transitioned to the studios fully within the last like 7 to 8 months, and absolute game changer with what we're doing using them for. And yesterday, I haven't had to use the studio underwater yet. I'm a mountain guy, but yesterday I went and bought a fish tank for the new ad that we're doing for the studio, and we were submerging it into water, slow motion, like with bubbles and stuff. And I'll be the first to tell you it's fully waterproof, man. So go nuts on the surfboard. I'm excited to see what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's so rugged.
That'd be
like
really
I had
cool.
it like a couple posts ago. I use it with sharks, and I had sharks bite and all kinds of things. So it's not just waterproof, it's rugged too. Like you can, like there was a couple of shots I was kind of concentrating one hand with like the photos and videos, and then the other hand with the lighting, and I just kind of wasn't paying attention, and a shark totally grabbed it, and just, you wouldn't even know there's not a scratch on it.
Wow.
So,
See, that's the difference between like what you're doing and what I'm doing. You said cool and cinematic, but I think that sounds a little bit more cool if you're fighting sharks. Marsden_Cade asked a question earlier, and I hope they're still on. They asked, how should I try to get myself sponsored by bigger brands later on when I try to become pro? So it sounds like they're probably just talking about surfing specifically, not the industry that I'm in. So could you answer that question for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's trying to be unique and trying to find your niche. That's what, because I was heading down the competition road, and there was so many guys that were doing that. And then I found my little niche with the photography, and that's the way I went. So I think just finding your niche, because being unique is how you get recognized, not just like whether you're putting out all these cool edits and whatever else, but being unique and trying to find your own style, and then just something that you enjoy too, is not just something your own niche, but something you enjoy, and just kind of chasing that. And then after that, once you obviously create some good footage, photos, or do good in contests, or have a killer following on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever it is, and then, you know, you have some backing. It's like, look, this is what I can do. This is what I can do for you, and try to propose something that's going to be interesting to that brand, and work with brands that you like.
Totally, yeah. Being unique is super important in a industry where everyone is trying to do the same thing. It was no different with me in the snowboard industry. You have to do something that makes you stand out, whether that's being more of a people person, finding your niche, whether you're competing or making video parts, or to being a content creator and doing your own content and doing these brand deals. Like, there's so many routes as a professional you can go. And I think you're like in a perfect spot, dude. I think like what you've done as far as being more of like doing a business side of things, where you're creating these products and then they're getting acquired, but then you're also still having fun and doing the surfing side of it, and being a professional athlete. Like, that takes a lot of talent, and like, you know, you're juggling a lot of different things. So I think that's awesome, man. So kudos for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So Brad Stoops just asked another question. He said, love my first gen Litra. Hope I can upgrade to one of the newer lights. Compact and waterproof, great features. That's more of a statement, not a question, but thanks so much, Brad. That's rad, dude. Super stoked. Yeah, get in the studio and the Pro, and upgrade from that torch when you can. By the way, I just want to drop really quick that Litra.com has a huge sale right now. Everything's 20% off. I don't want to bite my tongue, so I am going to double check that right now, but I know that it's been going on lately. And yeah, 20% off. Use Cyber November, and use it on Litra.com. So I just wanted to plug that for sure. And I do want to move back into some questions, and then I'll let you go, Walshy. I know you're busy, but I want to talk about Litra accessories, because we've really like branched out in accessories, whether it's the studio and the modifier, or the cage, or, you know, you can use the cage on the torch, or now you can use the softbox from the Pro on the torch. I mean, what are you using mostly as far as accessories go?
Well, for me, I like using the triple mount. That's why I have it right here. Just because I'm pairing, like, you know, my GoPro and lights. So having something small and light like this is pretty much a no-brainer for me. Obviously, it's to surf with the soft boxes and all of that is kind of a waste of time. But like, I've been surfing with filters too, which is really cool. Like, I have some like on the board with different colors shining in different ways off the water at night and stuff like that. But for me, like, I like using the triple or the double. add any combo, whether it's 2 GoPros in one photo, one video, or one at 4K like 60, or one at like 1080 240, or like different, you know, one wide, one narrow, whatever it is. Gives me lots of opportunity to run with that and the light as well, to just fill in those dark spots when I need to, and whether it's in the daylight or obviously full nighttime when I need a couple of lights, for like, because someone's shooting so far away, and adding the colors. So there's so much, like I was saying before, so modular, and with like the different, you know, filter colors and gels, and with the studio, there's just so much options, and you can just get as creative as you want, rather than just like shooting something. It's like the natural light, yeah, that's cool, but what can you do to fill in, to add definition, like side light, up high light, down low light, different colors, like to add mood and stuff like that. Is it's just something that there's this endless opportunities, and you can be as original and have your own even color, and then add that as your own color. So it's really cool.
Very cool, man. We had a question come in from Gnarly Marley Me. Hi, how do you do a snap? I really want to know. Please answer. So how do you do a snap, Walshy?
A lot of practice. That's just one of those things. That's the cool thing about surfing, is that you're always progressing. So doesn't matter if you've been surfing like me for like 22 years, or you've been surfing for like 22 days, like you're going to get better every time. So it's just like being consistent, like anything, being consistent and practice, and you'll end up doing one, and you'll be like, oh, now I want to do an air. So it's just like, it's like that high that you're chasing, like this drug-free high that you're always, okay, I want to do this, now I want to do this, and now I want to do this, and surfing will do that forever.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I love it. Well, there you go, Gnarly Marley May, I think. What's next for you? What's next for you, Walshy? What's going on next, man? What are you got coming up? What can we expect to see from you?
I've actually got, well, now, because there's been no contests, and I normally don't do contests, but there's a few like invite or like bigger contests I'll do, and I got invited to the Pipe Masters this year. It's going to be the first contest for 2021 season. So that's coming up in December. So I only just found out like yesterday actually that they're going to go ahead with that. So cool. That's really cool. Because I've always wanted to do that contest. Because I just like, Pipeline's one of my favorite spots. So that's up next, but definitely it's coming into winter here in Hawaii, and I've always just got so much things going through my mind of like trying to get different cool shots. So I haven't been using studios much in the water with big waves yet. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, see if you can throw it on that color cycle. I shot a music video recently, and I used the color cycle feature throughout the takes, and I would love to see what that does for you on like a long exposure photo of you like going down a pipe or something. That could be really, really cool to see. Awesome. And what's the winter in Hawaii like? I don't spend a ton of time in Hawaii.
Yeah, well, I mean, winter is still, still in the 80s. So 70s and 80s. So it's not like Utah gets. But
yeah, it's snowing right now. So yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, it's definitely not snowing here.
I love it.
So it's, it just means that's when the storms start, just like the same storms that come across here in the North Pacific, they hit here first, they create waves on the way here, and it keeps going, and then it creates snow up in the mountains for you guys. So it's those big storms there, they create waves for us, actually create good snow sometimes, depending on which way they go. The great stuff for you guys.
That's cool. Yeah, well, that's cool. So I get the white waves, and I'll get pitted in there, and then you can get pitted in the barrel. That's totally fine with me. So Scott had a question. He said, what are you doing next with environmental and ocean stewardship? So what's going on there?
Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about a lot in the last couple of years, and I want to do more with it. I just been partnered with the Ocean Cleanup, and I've actually been doing stuff with them since 2013. But they made these machines that go through all the oceans and collect all the ocean plastics. and they just and a lot of the machines actually run with just no power. They just run by the wind. They have machines that run by the wind, and they just get blown along and clean up all the plastics and solar.
Wow.
And like, it's really cool what they're doing. And then they're reusing those ocean plastics and making products. So they just came out with some sunglasses, which was really cool. So I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and so just trying to get help with getting rid of single-use plastics, and because, you know, like, I live in the ocean, and so I need to help protect it as well. So
Absolutely. Yeah, man, I feel that way too as far as this stuff goes. And our winters are getting shorter. Our average snowfalls are getting not as deep. And I mean, you can just see it. So
yeah,
awesome, man. Kudos for you for taking care of the future of surfing for everyone else that's behind you. And I'll try to do the same for snowboarding, man. Any advice, Walshy, for someone looking to get in the industry full time? I normally ask this to like a director or like a cinematographer or a photographer. So you're kind of, you wear many hats.
Yeah.
So let's do this. What would you say for someone trying to be a pro surfer? And then what would you say to someone trying to be a content creator? Or if you just want to answer those together, you can. But I think we have two different audiences in here.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've kind of put them together because there's things I love doing, like shooting and surfing. So for me, my niche was to, you know, go that route and create my own content before creating content was actually like a thing. So now that I kind of went straight into that area. But for someone else that's kind of starting out, I think, like, trying to be original, because you see things that go viral on the internet are usually something that's original, not just you redoing that video, whether it's the Fleetwood Mac, like, song, like, you know, like, just, I know it's stupid sometimes, but he came up with his own idea, and, you know, he's done it. You know, he came up with one original idea,
Right.
and it took off. So I think being original is the biggest part of it, and obviously doing something that you like. So he liked skateboarding, and he liked drinking cranberry juice. So that's what he did.
Yeah, dude.
And
rock on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that video was awesome. I mean, first off, Fleetwood Mac, you can't really go wrong, but it was just like, it wasn't even the video. It was a vibe, man. It was such a vibe. So find your vibe, you know. That's just one of those things where, you know, it's hard to make something, like, you spend so much time on certain things, and then you spend little time on certain things, and then the one that you spent the less time on gets more attention. So it's a hard thing to battle there.
Yeah, I mean, just doing things you like, and that's, you know, you could tell he's really enjoying it, and that was like, I think the most important thing about that video is that he's just like, actually, like, really, like you said, really vibing, like, really feeling it. So like, I think, like I was saying, if you do something you really enjoy and it's original, then, like, you know, there's so many things that, like, can be picked up like that now, and just taken off in the internet world, and, you know, you get a company to buy you a car or whatever and give you all this money because you did it originally and it got viral. So there's, in this world we live in, there's, like, you can be anyone, anywhere, and, like, create something and goes, you know, viral, and then you can be that content creator or that, like, whatever you want to be quite easily.
Yeah, I think today's world, it makes that a lot easier than, you know, when our parents were our age. So love technology, that's for sure. But dude, it's been so awesome having you on here. It's been great chatting with you again. We haven't hung out in a while, so I missed that. I hope one day we'll get to go back to Vegas and do our conventions with Litra, and then everyone can come say hey to you. You always there showing face. So that's really, really cool. That's a boy, 1, 2, 3. I love your videos from inside the barrel. Who doesn't, man? That's good. It's good stuff, dude. Well, Walshy, thanks so much, man. Thanks for joining us on Creative Corner. And hopefully next time we chat, it's in person and all as well. So keep making sweet content. Looking forward to seeing what you do at the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Drew. We'll see you soon.
Cool, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, man. Talk to you soon, man. Guys, how cool is that? That is Anthony Walsh. Like I said, if we ever get through this thing and go to Vegas and go to the conventions for CES and NAB, Walshy is normally always there, so you can stop by the booth and say hey to him. Bye. Have an amazing day. Gnarly, you too, man. Glad that we could help you out. Glad Walshy could answer your question. Come back and see us again. And guys, remember, everything is 20% off on Litra.com right now. They're having a huge sale for Cyber November, so get there and check everything else out. So, oh my goodness, it was awesome. Gnarly, it was awesome. Anyone else notice my flag fall down during the show? So here's why you use flags. See that blocking? Now I've got my main. It's actually right there because we're reversed. See the triangle? Boom. Here's what happens when your flag falls down. That's a side light. So anyways, just some lighting fun. Guys, we will see you again next month. We have another awesome guest, and I'm super excited to have them on, but it's a surprise. So stay tuned for Litra, and we will see you guys soon.